Welcome back to another episode of the Become Limitless podcast. This week's episode I want to talk about, does fasting work? And there's three main things I want to talk about here is, what do I mean by does fasting work? So you got a good understanding of what I'm talking about. I'm going to cover my experiences now that I've been doing it for a while. I want to cover what I'm actually doing right now, currently. I want to talk about what's actually occurring in my body, how do I feel, and then I want to go into some actionable steps that I want to give you to obviously help you if you want to give this a crack, to give this fasting a crack. However you look, find it, however you feel about fasting, I'm going to give it a crack. Okay, so firstly, what is it? What do I mean? What does that mean? What does it look like to me? What does it mean when it actually works? So there's a list of things that people normally look at when it comes to fasting and the reasons why they do fast. And normally it's weight loss is the first one, I think. And most people will do. And I've found that fasting is only really, to a certain extent, your fasting will help you with the weight loss. But realistically, your body's going to adapt to the amount of food you're eating. It's going to allow your body to do certain things. And you're going to have less food, obviously, if you're going to be fasting. And you're going to have your body adapt to that and still create the same body you've got already. That's just how it works. And that's pretty amazing that your body can do that. It's unfortunate in circumstances. So you can be fasting and still not getting weight loss results. What else do we look at? We look at, do I have to worry about exercising and recovering with exercise when I'm fasting? When do I exercise when I fast? All these things that can occur. And then we'll talk about this. We'll address all these things as well. Building muscle while fasting. So I know a guy from work. He's huge. He's a unit. He fasts. He does a 16-hour fast with an 8-hour window of eating. And he's a monster. But it's really important that he doesn't exercise while on a fast. He exercises while being fed. So he's giving his body the ability to build the muscles. He's having the proteins. He's eating all the proteins. He's doing what he's supposed to do. While in that 8-hour window, he exercises. We'll go into more information on there too. Energy levels. How far can I get to the fast? How far can I push the fasting? What are my energy levels like? And we'll talk about those things as well. Then productivity, like physically and mentally, do you feel dull? As I said before, energy levels, we'll talk about that. Physically getting stuff done, mentally, like getting these podcasts, getting this online business I'm trying to get up and running, all these things, does that get affected by, as it have a good and bad effect on it? So that and heaps more we're going to talk about on this episode. So my experiences, let's look into it. Do I struggle with things? How do I currently fast? Let's look at exactly what happens in a typical day for me with fasting. So I won't normally have brekkie until 8 o'clock. I'll try to push at it as far as I can. I will do fasted exercise in the morning, whether it's just a walk or a run or whatever the case may be. That's what I'm going to try and do every morning. I try to get that done every morning. Once I've done that, then I can really push through into brekkie. And if I run, I don't normally tend to be hungry. Not for a little bit of time afterwards. I don't know whether people get different experiences, but my stomach normally shuts down if I'm running because I'm pushing myself pretty hard. Then I can look at I start to eat. I have my brekkie. So traditionally, break fast, I've told you this many times, is breakfast is break fast. They say it's the most important meal of the day, and it doesn't have to be in the morning. That's the most important one. It's whenever you break that fast from you sleeping. Because sleeping normally for people is the longest time they go without eating. So I'll go to about 8 o'clock in the morning. I'll eat. Currently, it looks like I feel like I'm only really having a big lunch, and then I'm done. Sometimes I'll have some, depending on how I'm feeling, I have my window open until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Most of the time I'm eating until 1 o'clock. Maybe even have lunch at 12:30, and then I don't eat it again. And I'll still do some exercise. I'll still do push-ups, chin-ups. I'll still do all that stuff. I'll still run around with the kids. I'll still do all those things. But that's my eating window from about 8 till, let's go on average, 2 o'clock. So how do I feel? What does that look like in my day? Like, how does that, and it's really important that I make sure I really focus on, so that morning break fast is an amazing smoothie that I have that's got so much stuff in it. I know you overload your system with it and it'll get rid of whatever it doesn't need, but it's good. It's a good starting point. And then I have good healthy lunches, like plenty of potato pasta salad, and of course I'm vegetarian, so I'm not eating meats, so it's very important that I get a lot of the things that I would normally get in my meats, and so I get a good balance. And it's very important that we do intermittent fasting with adequate nutrition, or IFAN. I think that's been coined by some people already, but IFAN, intermittent fasting with adequate nutrition. It's really important that we eat the right amounts of foods, and gauge, if you start to do these things, gauge how you're feeling. For me, I can do that, no worries at all. I probably eat a fair bit of food between that 8 and 2, and then I do feel hungry. I still feel hungry, and I try to change the hours as well. So I might even do a dinner one time and then skip breakfast, just to feel that hunger in the morning. Because obviously, as from the previous episodes on longevity, we know that the hunger feeling is where we get that. So if my body's adapted and I'm not hungry at night, or I'm not hungry at those times, then I'm losing that ability. Like, if you're going to be feeling hungry to get those longevity benefits, so I try and change it up as well. But for you starting out, it's very important that you just do what you're comfortable with. All right, so weight loss. I'm losing weight with it because I'm exercising as well as fasting. So what I'm putting in is definitely not adding up to how much I'm putting out. But we've got to also remember that there's so many processes in the body to allow us to sort this out. Because, like, historically, when we were evolving, we didn't have food all the time. We were going to be hungry, and our body needed to adapt to and create processes that allowed us to keep going at what we had to do, because we still had to get our food. We still had to find it or hunt for it, or whatever, how we had to find it or get it. So it was very important that our body created processes to give us the energy we need if we were without food for a certain amount of time. So it's very important that we understand that. Don't worry so much about being hungry, because it's been instilled, it's been programmed in. I feel like in me, myself, has been programmed in, like, you're not eating enough food. Worries can be concerned. So it's very important that don't stress. Don't concern yourself. If you're hungry, remember that's a good feeling. Hungry means you're going to be activating all the longevity genes and so many other things that are going on in the body. It's also creating that that recycling of the proteins, the old proteins as well, to build the muscles. Because let's lead straight into that then. Let's come up, let's lead into it. Building muscle. I feel like I'm getting really, I don't feel like I've lost, I'm not building muscle like a bodybuilder, like I'm trying to get huge, but I'm trying to get some muscle mass on me to make myself stronger. And I do feel stronger. I feel way stronger. All the push-ups, pull-ups. I do weighted pull-ups, weighted push-ups with 10 kilo weight vests, some weighted walking lunges. I do lots of things like that, weighted, to see, I test my body to see what it's going to be able to do, what it's going to be able to react to with the way I'm eating and how much food and nutrients I'm putting into my body. And I'm fine. I don't feel as fatigued as I would, and I can't compare it to, obviously, Ironman training where I was eating crazy amounts of food and exercising crazy amounts, but I feel good. I feel really good. And my energy levels, I don't have a lull of the day. I would normally, after lunch, have a tired, like, struggle, keep my eyes open, like, wake up, at work or at home. When I stick to, that's another one, when I stick to, because I don't always stick to it, my fasting regime, I don't have that lull. I feel like I've got this energy that's just creeps along like this. Also depends on what I eat as well, but creeps along. I don't have this spike over meals because I'm eating such a large amount of good foods too. I try to really eat good foods. Then I'm good. I feel powerful. I feel like I've got the energy to go forever and ever. Now, exercising, I'm not doing 2-hour bike rides. I'm not doing crazy runs yet. That's on the cards, I believe. But I'm not doing any of these things. It's insane to think that I can do all the standard daily things that I normally would, and it doesn't affect me at all. I have this mental clarity, and we talk about productivity or how productive I am physically and mentally, and throughout the day I get my stuff done. Physically, I can get the washing done, I can look after the kids, I can run after the kids, I can play all day, I can get hot, I can get cold. Like, it doesn't concern me, it doesn't worry me, not in the slightest does it worry me. And I've never felt like I've ever struggled when it comes to that side of things with this fasting. All you have to deal with is the hunger that goes on in the head and the brain. Like right now, as of recording, nice and early in the morning. So I've been on a fast for, I believe I ate at 12:30. I had lunch yesterday. So then I've got a hungry feeling, and I really try to reframe this sensation of hunger right now. It's good. I'm creating longevity. My body is rewiring and firing all those amazing genes to put the information back for the cells to create this hormesis effect where what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, which is hunger right now. And all the proteins are being recycled in my body and creating what I need to create, and getting the glucose from the liver. It's creating glucose itself. That's going to burn for me for energy, and I'm not going to run out. So I've also done those 3-day fasts as well. I haven't been able to do a 5-day fast yet, and I'm not sure why. It's a mental whatever it is, but I haven't been able to do a 5-day fast. The 3-day fast, I can go no worries at all. I can keep pushing my body. I do feel a bit sluggish towards the end, and I believe that's just me not being able to, or not being efficient at using my body's energy stores as I could be. And that will come with time. I know it will. I do push myself. I do like to not sit still too much, even though I am being more on the computer lately. But that's just how it is. That's the way life is. And I do find that this fasting hasn't stopped me productivity. Let's go into mental clarity now. So my productivity physically, smashing it. I feel like I've got better productivity mentally when I'm in a fasted state. Like, you don't have the energy going on digesting food. It can go to everywhere else it needs to go, for healing, physical activity, for your brain's mental focus, and it does. It creates this crazy mental clarity and focus that I can really push through what I need to push through. Now, what else has occurred is that my skin feels more balanced, as well as my diet, not eating meat, really trying to cut out the sugar, like really trying. Like, I have such a hard time, but it's funny how you need to do things over and over sometimes, especially for a male, to get any clarity, like get some, I don't know, to get it cemented in your brain. Like, you know what, sugar's okay in the short term, like in a really small amount, every now and then, if you want to have it. You don't need it. You can find all the energy you need. And it's such an addictive substance for me that I can't have it. I just can't. If I give myself a certain little window to keep having some more, and it creates skin gets irritated. And I've also found that fasting, because I'm not eating as much, I'm creating my own sugars, glucose in this body, that my skin gets clearer. It's amazing to see it. So when I go off the fast, or I do, stumble a bit on the fast, then I notice that inflammation comes back, because I normally do eat some sugars too much. So it's very important that I do that. Now, because I skip dinner, the next one I want to talk about, my experience, is getting better sleep. Now, I sleep really good normally, but skipping dinner means that I don't have this digestion happening just before going to bed. I don't have my body trying to burn all that stuff off, not hurting, wrong words. Burning that stuff off, trying to digest this food and creating this heat in my system, where my body's winding down from whatever time I stopped eating. I'll digest, and then it'll drop off, and I can wind down and I can go to sleep real quickly. That's not a problem at all for me. So that's another one. If you don't have dinner, if you do the fasting and you don't have dinner, then you will get better sleep, because your body isn't like trying to digest food while trying to sleep. Now that's going to lead into my action items I want to leave with you. If you want to give this a crack, make sure you're doing it when you, if you want to fast a little bit longer than you normally would, just nighttime sleep fasts, like not a 12-12 kind of thing, and doing a bit longer, okay, maybe pushing it out to a 16 hours where you don't eat, and 8 hours where you do eat. What's easiest for you? What could you easily skip? Is it the morning food, or is it, I always said it, I say I want to go away from I always said it again. I want to go away from saying breakfast is a morning thing. Breakfast or break fast is whenever we have it after we finish fasting. So if you want to stop the morning meal because you feel like you can skip that easier, do it. If you want to skip the nighttime meal, skip that if it's easier. For me, it is easier. I can't go past, like, I love my morning meal, my breakfast normally in the morning. So I don't like to skip that. And I feel like it sets me up for the rest of the day anyway. I can feed myself, fuel myself, and I can smash myself way through the day, especially with my job being physically demanding. I want to be able to fuel myself. Then I don't have to eat after lunchtime. I can go the whole way through the rest of the day at work, come home, smash it out, and then I go to sleep. Don't need the energy then. I don't need to be eating then, or I don't think I need to be eating then. And I can let my body do its thing and recover and do what it does while it's sleeping, and then wake up and do it again. That's, for me, that's what I found easiest. But find your easiest, whatever's easiest for you, and then try it. It's really important that we do that. And I obviously, again, I know I changed it up a bit. That's just to get that, stop my body adapting and stopping myself being hungry, which is, it's amazing how quickly your body can adapt to those kind of adverse hormesis reaction. It occurs in the body, how it just doesn't affect it anymore. It's just like, well, that's the norm. And it's amazing. That's why we need to change things up a lot. We want to get rid of that, how quickly our body can adapt to things. Okay, we've got to remove the temptation. We've got to remove ourselves from the environment that could be making us want to eat. If we want to do this fasting, we want to keep this happening. I know food's going to always be around, especially if you've got a family or things like that. They're going to be eating all the time. And if you're struggling because they're eating all the time, we'll go do something when they're having their dinner or something like that. I know it's usually pretty healthy to sit down and have a chat with them. You might be able to do dishes while they're eating dinner. You can clean the dishes while they're eating, or for dinner. Like, clean up the dishes. Do something productive while that's occurring to distract your mind. Because realistically, you're only hungry because it's that time of the day. And I've gone through this with the fasting previously, especially when you do a 3-day fast. If you ever try that, you get hungry at certain times of the day that you would normally eat. And it's amazing how your body's got this awesome way of having this habit and having this reaction. And like, okay, oh, you're getting hungry now. And you look down and you go, oh, it's time. I'm going to reinforce that. It's time to go eat. So it's very important that we don't do that. We really, if we want to try this, want to give this fasting a crack, give it a crack. Really be focused that I'm going to be hungry at those times of the day, whenever you skip, whatever meal you skip. Don't skip lunch. You can skip lunch, but you're not going to really get the same benefit if you skip lunch. Reframe the hunger feeling. That's the biggest one for me. Whenever I'm hungry right now, I reframe it. I say that this is positive. I'm getting longevity genes are kicking in. My body's starting to use all its resources it's got. I'm starting to recycle those old proteins. I'm starting to do so many different things that are going on inside my body that would not normally occur if I'm not hungry. I'm getting into this hormesis state. Whatever doesn't kill me makes me stronger. So it's very, very powerful. Now, don't discourage yourself if you do fail to stick to it a little bit. Say you have a dinner. Don't discourage yourself. I talk about this in a lot of things, anything you do. Celebrate the wins, forget about the losses, or learn from why that failed. Why did I fail there? Why did I eat dinner? Why did I have breakfast that morning? Why did I have that? Sorry, I did it again. Why did I have that morning meal? Why did I have that nighttime meal that I was meant to skip? Why did that occur? Reflect logically, not emotionally. Not go, oh, I can't do this. I'm no good at this. Why am I even trying? Don't do that to yourself. Okay? You're human. We all make mistakes. I'm not perfect in the slightest when it comes to this fasting. Like, I'll come home and my lovely wife is like, I've got pizza. And I'm like, that's a weakness. I gotta eat it. Lovely vegetarian pizzas. And I'll have dinner. But then I'll push myself, okay, I've had dinner. It's okay. I will skip my morning meal. Hey, look, I did it. My morning meal out. And I'll have my breakfast later on, 10 o'clock, 10:30. I'll try and make myself do stuff in the morning. And it's really important that we just go, okay, roll with it, adapt to the situation, adapt to the circumstances that are occurring. And remember that we don't need to eat as much as we've been told we have to eat. This massive food industry wants us to eat more. And it's really important that you understand that they're also pushing guidelines on how much you should be eating, what we should be doing, it goes on. There's a lot of money involved. And they're not looking for healthy. They just want you to eat more, and might not necessarily be healthier. So it's very important that we do limit the amount of food we have, and that fasting is very healthy. It's very healthy for us. So I hope you got something out of this. The actual items, I hope that you can take them with you, help you start fasting, and really push yourself to become limitless. Okay, that's all for this episode. Stay limitless.